Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our reaction and review for Gen V Season 2, Episodes 1, 2, and 3. Prime Video put out the first 3 episodes at once. Why are you guys doing this to us? Like, let us savor them a little bit more, please.
Yeah, I really wish they would not do this. They did this last season as well. But you know what? We're here. We got 3 episodes that were jam-packed.
Yeah, there is so much going on. We have characters returning to Godolkin.
Yep.
We have a new Dean there in Cypher. We have crossovers with the boys. And we have what I think is a really interesting mystery. And this is sort of the big thing that I'm excited to get into this season. What is Odessa really? Like, what's going on here? And why is this so important and seemingly tied to Marie?
And you know what? We don't have any more Tech Knight. No Tech Knight. Oh my goodness. He gone. Pour one out for Tech Knight.
Okay, I will pour one out.
At least they mentioned him.
I will pour one out for the Gen V version of Tech Knight. I feel like the boys version of Tech Knight was just like, who is this person? Like, he was a little bit similar to the Gen V character, but they took it in a very interesting direction.
They absolutely did, but man, I'm gonna miss that character so much.
It was so unbelievably weird. But okay, we have so much to get into in these 3 episodes. But before we do, though, be sure to hit that subscribe button because Jess and I will be here throughout Gen V Season 2 with our thoughts, our theories, all sorts of big stuff that's seemingly happening here, including some stuff that may set up the 5th and final season for the boys. And beyond all that, we are also gearing up here for It Welcome to Derry, which is premiering on HBO next month. And then later this year, Prime Video is bringing back Fallout with Season 2, which we are just like so stoked for as fans of the games.
Yeah, we're fans of the games, fans of the show, fans of Walton Goggins. Cannot wait for that to come back. So hit that subscribe button and help support us here at the channel. And if you want to talk about Gen V further with us, you can head over to our Patreon. I'll leave a link for you below. Over there we have chats, polls, all kinds of discussion. So thank you so much to everyone who has.
Thank you guys. We very much appreciate that.
Okay.
Let's just start things off here by talking about Chance Perdomo, who tragically passed away just a short period of time before filming for Season 2 was going to begin. So,
yeah, and this episode started with a memorial card for him, which I think, you know, was the right thing to do because a lot of shows actually put their memorial cards at the end. And it was really nice to see that they started this whole thing out with a memorial card for him right away.
Yeah, and I mean, we know how much the cast and the crew of the show loved him, and I thought Andre was a great character in Season 1. And I think what the challenge is that the show is facing this season is that when Chance passed away, the entire season was basically written. And so they went back to the drawing board, they kind of devised a story, and then tried to fit it in with everything else that's going on. So, I mean, the writers had a very big challenge in trying to figure out this season. But what they've done, at least so far in these first 3 episodes, is really give the character dying some really serious weight. And, you know, I know it's strange to say that, you know, I'm glad they killed this character off, but it feels more of a tribute than just recasting him and then moving forward and acting as though nothing happened.
I was concerned that they were going to think about recasting him. I'm really glad that they didn't. And it did end up working really well for this story where, you know, they were all captured basically and being held.
Yeah.
Marie was able to get out, but the other 3 were still left there. And Andre ended up having the same problem that his father was having. And while he was trying, he was like, okay, Marie got out. I can get us out. I'm going to get all of us out. And he died a hero trying to get everyone out, but ended up having an aneurysm and stroke and he died.
Yeah, like there was a part of me that wondered, okay, is there going to be something more going on here than we know? Like, was there some sort of testing that was happening to him? Like, I think all of that is possible, but, you know, for now, I'm willing to just sort of take this at face value because I think it's a really honorable way for that character to go out, but it's also a way that really drives forward the stories of everybody else, right? Like, this is now Emma and Jordan realizing further that he really sacrificed everything for them. And, you know, it helps that his dad, you know, Polarity is now in this spot where everything he does, whether he's, you know, working undercover at the school or away from the school, that it's all going to be like I want to make sure that my son did not die in vain.
Absolutely. And to find out more about Odessa and the Elmira facility, everything that happened to his son there, to get to the point that he felt he needed to break out. Like, we still don't know everything that was happening there. We
Yeah.
know that Cypher was there as maybe a doctor, maybe security. They can't really remember exactly why he was there, what he was doing.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, he's the dean of this university.
Yeah.
There are no more humans running this university, teachers, nothing, only support staff, work in the coffee house, stuff like that is
Yeah.
where humans are. So to have his dad be such an important part of the story, I think was a really good move.
Yeah, and I think it's good that we just have some adult characters kind of mixed in with the youngers. And I know that, people like Marie and Emma, they're adults, but they're young adults. They're people
Young
who are
adults.
still trying to figure themselves out in that way. I think in general, if there's one thing I'm really going to praise this season for, is I think Cypher's a great character. I think insofar as introducing someone in season 2, season 3, where the cast already kind of knows each other, like, he is menacing, he's mysterious, he's tied to some larger mythology. And if Gen V is not going to be as funny as the boys, and I think Gen V is very good, but I think it's also fair to say it's not as funny as the boys.
It's a lot more serious.
Yeah, I think you do need other reasons for people to watch. And I think a big one of, okay, we're going to bring in this character and we're going to center a whole mystery kind of around them, even to the point where we're questioning what his powers are. Like, I think all of that is very, very effective.
He's a great addition to the show. He
Yeah.
is menacing. He is diabolical. What was he doing at this Elmira facility? How is he all of a sudden the dean? And how would he have this much power over Kate, who, for me, is easily one of the most powerful people
Yes.
on this show, to be able to touch somebody and make them do anything like that? It's just amazing to me that he's got that much control over her, even though he had such a cheeseball name. Cypher, stop.
It really, okay, guys.
And that's
producers.
coming from someone who loves the name Tech Knight.
Okay. The Tech Knight's just funny. It's unavoidable. Cypher is very cheesy. I mean, I wonder, is that intentional or not? I have no idea, but it is interesting that we're getting this character at this point who clearly has ties to almost everything,
Yes.
whether it be the Elmira facility to even Marie being born, like, her own origin story in that way.
Yeah.
Here is where it's time to put on the tinfoil hat
All
here.
right, let's get into Odessa.
What is Odessa? So there's a lot of different roads I could go down with some of this, but I'm going to speak to somebody, as somebody who grew up in West Texas. And, there is a not great show called Landman that really tries to emphasize West Texas.
Oh my
as
God,
this
you didn't tell me to put on my hard hat.
Listen, I will not spend that much time bashing Landman, just a little bit. But anyway, Midland and Odessa are a big part of that show. And it's like centered around this idea of oil booms and discovery. And I'm kind of thinking that the name Odessa is sort of a nod to the idea of a discovery here, or a discovery being, how can we develop a failsafe here at Vought? Because it feels like superficially this company has thrown all of its lot into Homelander at this point. That he is, our mouthpiece, our spokesperson. At this point, he's running everything. He's basically running all the forces the country has. But at the same time, like, you always need a backup plan. And I think this is the case for any business that's out there. You're never going to commit fully to just one thing. You want to have a failsafe. And I think that failsafe is Marie, because otherwise, why do we have Cypher saying things like, we've seen various trailers, you could be more powerful than Homelander.
Right.
If anybody's going to know, it's him, because he was there from the very beginning. And so I think him being brought in to Godolkin at this point, and everyone finding their way back there as students, really is kind of this testament of, okay, we know that we're going to have Homelander running things, but we also know that he is completely out of his mind and power hungry and a megalomaniac. We cannot have all of our eggs in this basket, so we need to really start developing things along with Marie, just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Vought, this is all about Vought and the
Yes.
corporation, right? Like, Homelander was supposed to be somebody that they could control to some degree, but it is so out of control now
Yeah.
from the boys that he is basically in government now. I mean,
Yes.
suits are a part of everything now, that they're bigger than Vought, and Vought is going to need to be able to get a handle on it. And I mean, Vought has their hands in this university, of course, in the woods, in Elmira, all of it. So, and with this fertility clinic, where all the way back where Marie was being conceived and brought into this, we know that Odessa had all these other, babies that just didn't make it, but this is the one that made it. We saw that the original Odessa formula kind of looked like Compound V, but it was like a milky blue instead. So that maybe that's what this is, that it's like, okay, maybe she wasn't shot up with Compound V. Maybe this was instead done in a petri dish and put her together and, put in this Odessa, and that this is the first viable baby that they've had that actually was born, and through pregnancy, all of it with already Odessa in her system, and she was born.
I know there aren't necessarily a lot of people out here who love the "you're the chosen one" story, but I feel like
I don't love it.
in this case, like, it's not
Not
perfect.
normally.
But I think that there's some interesting things going on here with Marie, because it's sort of like she is a chosen one, but there's no guarantee that Vought's going to get everything they want out of her, right? Where it's like, even if all this is true, and this is why Odessa exists in that various way, it's like, how are they going to keep her on side to doing everything that they want? Because Vought is terrible, and it seems like Marie, she's gone through a lot, but she has a real sense of morality, and it's like she's following along with some of what they're wanting her to say and do and all of that right now. But how long is this going to last?
Well, this is the thing, it's the nature versus nurture. We had that whole Homelander backstory on the boys, where it was kind of like, if he wasn't just raised in a room with no love and no care and no nothing, if he actually was raised with a family, etc., he may not have ended up here. It's a possibility. He may have still ended up the same, but maybe not, right? So, I mean, is it possible, that while Marie has gone through a lot of tragedy, of course, with what happened to her parents, she's unable to connect with her sister, her, aunt is keeping them apart, all kinds of stuff, that tragic backstory could then be, finessed by Vought as well.
I think we're going to be in this interesting spot where Marie this season, she's going to be pushed in all these sort of different directions, and she has to figure out what's right for her, because this is a proper entry point to my favorite character in the Boys universe showing up in episode 1. Annie, nice to see you. It's been a while.
You love it.
I am a Starlighter. Please, Homelander, don't come for me. Don't. I listen. I'll put one of the signs on the wall, but I'll tear it down. But like, I love Starlight. I'm glad that Aaron got to come over and do this. But even though there's a lot of it that did just feel like exposition in a way, where it's like, okay, Marie, I want you to go over here. You need to find the truth out about Odessa. And while it would have been great to get more information on what Annie is actually up to, I'm guessing that she's trying to put together something to free the rest of the boys. But I kind of feel like she's got her own prerogative now with Marie, where she's just like, okay, I know there's something special about you. You can go in here and figure all this out. And I think she's kind of doing this with this assumption that, okay, because I'm inherently good, and I think Marie is inherently good, she's going to come out on the other side of this, and we can really work together. It's a very nice, very optimistic thought.
Yeah, I just wonder if Starlight knows some stuff about Odessa already, but not everything, but enough that she knows that Marie needs to discover who she is for herself first before Vought gets their hands into her. And that at that point, Starlight can show back up and be like, okay, now that you know who you are and what you're capable of and what Vought wants you for, come join Team Starlight instead. There has to be a reason that this is going on this season, not just for, hey, I need to get you to go and do this Odessa thing, because we also saw this going on with the coffee shop girl that kept having, this resistance, and all the Starlighters and everything that's going on with Cricket and all of that. Like, it feels very much like who is Marie going to end up siding with, the Resistance or Vought?
Yeah, and I think she's probably going to be torn back and forth here or there on it, because I'm sure Vought is going to continue to promise her great things. And I think when you're young, especially, the idea of fame and being presented as a hero. I mean, we think back to the
Yes.
first season of The Boys. It was like all that stuff was really appealing to Annie back then. It was like
Yes.
that was the stuff that she wanted to be a superhero for. But I think this season's going to be a lot about Marie's eyes being opened even further than they are right now, and perhaps starting to realize that, okay, if we're ever going to topple Homelander or Vought, like, this has to be a multi-prong operation. Like, I think Annie showing up is just testament that, like, okay, Starlight's pretty powerful as a suit, but, she can't defeat Homelander on her own, and she knows that. So she's just like, okay, what can I do? I've got to develop resources, and I've kind of got to get them on a ground level that nobody is really going to be sniffing around. And if Vought is willingly bringing Marie back to school already, like, they're not going to think that much about this.
For sure. And that's where Cypher is stepping in as well. Obviously, he's trying to train her, whatever. He's definitely just like a company guy for Vought.
Yeah, okay. Like, this is all the really, really good, juicy stuff at the heart of this season. I think where it still needs to develop a little bit more is I'm kind of just having a harder time settling back in to sort of the school aspect of it, where we have some of the characters going to class and there's just these typical hijinks, and I'm just sitting back and I'm being like, it feels like the entire future of the world is at stake, and we have like cricket bouncing around in a cup to various people, and we've got parties, and we've got some more melodrama going on here when it comes to Marie. It's just like, do we need all of this?
Yeah, it's a really tough balance. I mean, when they first brought up Gen V for, season 1, I had wondered how they were really going to make this fit into the world of the boys without making it feel like I'm watching maybe like the Vampire Diaries or something like that, where it is about young adults and partying, the fraternities, and the deep is the president and all that sort of stuff. Like, all of those jokes are fine and fun, but they're not as edgy and as biting as the boys. And it's always been the thing that's been missing from Gen V, that it's not hitting that edge as hard as it could be. And I actually wonder if it's because they are trying to find a balance, because this is a younger audience that I think is watching this over the boys, which is such a weird thing to say because the boys is the boys. There's a more mature audience that's watching the boys.
Yeah, I just think they're willing to be more satirical on the boys and be harder hitting and biting. And I think a lot of that ends up working. Whereas here, yeah, I think they do play it safe with a couple of different angles, because like one thing I'm really, really invested in right now, and I really hope that they do lean hard into this, is that Marie left Kate to die. Like, let's just all be real here for a moment. She left one of the most powerful soups who is currently alive just to go. And it's just, I want to see a full, crazy, intense revenge plot on the other side of this, and like we need to get that, and we haven't really gotten to that point yet.
I'm so invested in this Kate character, and it's so weird to say it because she's truly in the middle of so many different people pulling her in so many directions. And while, yes, she is doing a bunch of diabolical things as well, she's also a young person that's being really influenced by Vought. She is also somebody that is being threatened by Cypher, but she does want to be accepted by her friends. She's, being manipulated last season to, keep Golden Boy under this trance where he keeps forgetting about the woods and what happened to his brother and all these things. Like, she's just really young and impressionable and being pulled in all these different directions that she is thinking for everybody else, but is never really being able to think for herself. And I do think that she does want to do the right thing. And she did want to be able to get her friends, people she cares about, out of Elmira. But the only way she was able to do that is because she was being forced to do something she didn't want to do by Cypher. She is the most interesting character on this show by a mile.
She's really, really good. And I think it's in a spot now where I feel like she might be far gone. I mean, she might be at a situation now where once you're left to die by somebody who, you tried to convince yourself you could sort of win back and everything could be as it once was. It's just like, how much does that corrupt you at this point?
I don't know, because when she went in to try to talk to Cypher and was like, okay, is, Marie, Jordan are the people that are actually responsible for this, not the Starlighters you pinned this on, the people that actually
Yeah.
did this to me. Are you going to actually make them accountable? No, no, this is better for VOT. This is better for the corporation. This is better for our cause. You're just going to eat this. That when she was back in her room and she's taking off, her beanie, and you can see her scars. She's taking off her gloves. She's missing her arm, of course, from what happened
Yeah.
with Marie last season. She really just wanted accountability, like anyone to even say, hey, man, I did this and I'm sorry. I shouldn't have left you for dead. I just couldn't. I couldn't trust you. I didn't know. And now that Jordan is really becoming the up and comer for Godolkin, and they're up there giving their speech, them actually saying, I did this, I'm the person that did this to Kate, that might be the thing that turns it around for Kate, that they are actually taking accountability, not just to Kate, but on like a huge platform where there's no takebacks.
The thing that's going to make this so tricky is now that we did have Jordan up there giving that speech, it's like, okay, is the toothpaste now out of the tube? It's like, what can Cypher do at this point? You can't really do much of anything. Like, you can attempt some sort of cover up. You can try to keep people in line. You can be like, oh, Jordan, they were brainwashed by someone. They weren't of the right mind. Like, if
they're a secret Starlighter.
Yeah, like I'm sure they're gonna try to put something out there that's gonna put this character in a certain amount of jeopardy. I'm very interested to see how they sort of work past that. I'm also kind of interested if they're going to bring, one other character from perhaps the Seven in to sort of be, I don't know, a heavy to sort of make sure people stay in line. Like, they did drop that our new Black Noir was a part of Godolkin once upon a time. Like, I would love to see him sort of brought in, but it just feels like they have to come up with a solution and answer to this first and foremost. And it's possible Cypher may be so distracted dealing with this that if we're in a situation where Kate is kind of like, you know what, I will accept this accountability, like, they may not even realize Cypher.
Yeah, I mean, it could also be that Jordan and Marie and Cricket can at that point come to Kate, or Kate can go to Jordan and say, listen, I appreciate you actually putting that out there. You didn't just come to me. You said this in a way that they can't, put this genie back in the bottle again. Yeah. And Jordan might be like, you know what? I did do you dirty. We did you dirty. And if you actually don't want Cypher controlling you anymore, then we all need to work together as a group. But Kate needs to tell them that that's what's happening, because at that point they may be like, okay, we're all going to work together to deal with this.
And here is the hard part of all of this. When you were young, it is very hard to swallow your pride, especially if you have superpowers and you think you can do everything.
Absolutely. An apology and an admission might not be enough for Kate.
No,
she has been through a lot.
She's been through a lot, and she's went through nearly dying. Like, these are very, very hard circumstances, and this is a pretty extreme show.
Yeah.
Now, here's the biggest issue this show is facing right now. You guys need to figure something out with Sam, because it's just like, if Sam as a character is just going to be a wind-up toy for the entire season, where it's just like, okay, Kate will make him forget some stuff, he'll go and he'll wreak some havoc, and then that'll be it. It just feels like there is a real risk we're going to see the same thing every single episode for this guy. And I'm like, he's got an interesting physicality. Like, he's not a bad character. It's just they're not using him in any way that's interesting for me.
He just feels like Frankenstein's monster, where it is just do what we say. We'll make you forget. He's raging out. He's the Hulk. Like, they do need to dive deeper into this character. There has to be more than what is going on. This is basically the same character that we already saw, with no growth, no movement, into nothing else. Like, they started to move a little bit last season into him developing feelings for Cricket, and vice versa, and that there was something that was kind of growing him as a person. but it's all gone. And now that Kate is unable to make him forget anymore, hopefully that's going to be the catalyst to push him into his own growth. That it's like, okay, he's, using cartoons and stuff to be able to kind of make himself forget. He was using Kate to make himself forget. He needs to just deal with it at this point so he can grow as a character.
What I do like about where we are going into episode 4 is just like, at the very least, it feels like the show is juggling a few different things, and they all could lead to interesting reveals about Cypher, about Odessa, because we have, Marie obviously trying to fulfill this directive now. We have Cricket working with Polarity, which is like this combination of characters.
So funny.
Yeah, it's so funny and unexpected. And like that was something that I really enjoyed for those two, that kind of offered a little bit of lightness. But we have multiple people directly looking into Odessa. We have whatever's going on with Danny that's happening for the most part off screen now. And then we have Jordan and what's going to happen on the other side of what they did, which on paper feels like it could be a really, really good distraction.
Absolutely. I mean, they're number one at the ranks right now. Yeah. So for them to go up on stage and say something like that, I don't know how they deal with this. Like, I cannot wait for this next episode. That was such a cliffhanger.
I got one last thing to say here about these rankings. It's just like, how does all this work? Jordan was gone for a long time. Jordan randomly is back. All of a sudden, they're magically number one. Like,
these are like the rankings that they have on like these made-up shows where it's like, this person's PSR is this, and it's like, okay, come on.
And none of it really. The numbers are the real friends we made along the way. I don't know, but
they're just made up.
All right, well, that is where we are with the first 3 episodes of Gen V season 2. But we want to hear from you guys. Like, what do you think Odessa is? How do you think it's going to impact the rest of this season? Tell us what you enjoyed the most, the questions you have, so much more in the comments. And hit that subscribe button for more. And you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. Thank you so much for your support. We will see you here next time.